All right, busy day tomorrow in Auburn. First day of spring football, and Auburn baseball top 5 showdown at 4 p.m. So would encourage fans to go check out baseball first, help get them a win, and then show up for another late one for the Tigers tomorrow night at 9 in Neville. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Stephen, it's become more common for high majors to, when they don't make the NCAAs, to just turn down the NIT and move on. Why did you guys decide to keep on playing when so many teams in y'all's position are turning it down these days?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here to coach basketball. The guys on my roster are here to play basketball, and we're all here to compete. And I'm not going to duck away from an opportunity to go out there and prepare and compete and play basketball, because that's what we're here to do. I'm not going to take my ball and go home because we didn't make the tournament. So I just see it as an unbelievable opportunity for our guys to go out there and just compete on a stage. Most of our games will probably be on ESPN. There's a lot of people in college basketball that would love to be able to do that. And obviously our goal is to not to play in the NIT. Our goal is playing the NCAA tournament, advance the NCAA tournament. But that didn't happen this year. And, we have an opportunity to go play in a tournament that's nationally televised and, continue to play basketball for these next few weeks. So if we're able to advance. So I'm of the mindset of like, let's just go play, let's go hoop and, have some fun with it. So that's ultimately why I made the decision for us to play in the NIT.
Similar to first question, when high majors do play, sometimes there are some opt-outs. Are you guys going to be at full strength in the NIT? And I guess what was the reaction from the team of deciding to do this? Because in Nashville they talked about, hey, don't want to go home, don't want to play their final game. I guess were they pretty fired up to still have an opportunity to play more basketball?
I don't know about opt-outs yet because we visited last night after the selection show, and obviously everyone was upset for not having made the tournament, and told them to sleep on it, and I'll be with them here in the next 30 minutes. So as of right now, no one's called me or anyone on my staff saying that they're not playing, but if that changes, obviously we'll let you guys know.
Yeah. How does this affect just getting ready for the portal? How do you kind of merge and do these two things? You've been coaching a lot, portaling, getting ready for the portal. How do you do that?
Well, the portal doesn't open until after the Final Four. So if the portal was open now, that might have affected my decision. But right now, besides us getting organized and getting a roster of guys that we'd like to go after if they do intend to go in and watching film, there's not a whole lot we can do. We can do both of those things if we're playing home games in Auburn in the NIT. So I just felt like you can do both, and that's what we're going to do. So we've been actively preparing for this portal cycle for a few weeks now, and our staff's been really hard at work just getting things organized and identifying some of the positions that we'll need to fill for next year and looking at potential targets. If they do go in, we'll be prepared because we've watched film and we've evaluated the things that they do. And, we've been obviously looking at the international market as far as players that are available from over there that we can currently be, recruiting. We just feel like right now, we're able to do both. So that's what we're going to do.
South plays looks like a pretty funky kind of zone. Nobody shoots saw more threes than they did this season. Just talk about that matchup and just it's a very different kind of defense than what y'all have been seeing really the last few months.
Yeah, it's got some Merrimack tendencies to it, and just with the activity and how much they fly around, they lead their conference in turnovers force, and they do a great job of taking away some of the things that you want in as far as when you go against zone, like when the ball goes to the high post, they're all collapsing. They want you to take threes, and that's. We got to find certain spots on the floor that we can attack and be aggressive. But, they're going to play the entire game in zone, whether it's 2-3 or 1-3-1. They're going to try and junk it up and keep you off balance as best they can. And they do a really good job with it.
Go ahead, Bird. And then to Andy.
And then on the offensive end, their best, they have the Sun Belt Player of the Year, 6'6" point guard who doesn't shoot a lot, but he scores a ton. Just the challenges kind of matching him up, and the guys they put around him seems like they got some catch and shoot guys that they like to use around him.
Yeah, he's big and physical, and he plays bully ball. He gets to the rim, does a great job of finishing through contact. He draws a ton of fouls, so he does a great job of getting to the free throw line. He's surrounded by some really good shooters. One of the best shooters in the country. He's made like 102 threes this year. So, they and then they have two other guys that can really shoot it out there. So I mean, they were playing for a share of the conference title in their last game at home, and they ultimately weren't able to win that game. But Coach Riley, he's done a great job this year with this group, and I know they're going to be really excited about this game. So our guys are going to have to get up for it because we're going to have our hands full because they play an interesting style. They have two high major players on their roster, and our guys got to be ready because they're going to be coming in here with their hair on fire, trying to knock us off.
Coach, is this the same style defense that you saw from South 7 years ago when you guys played down there? Were they playing that much zone at that point?
8 years ago in the COVID game, they were running that zone a good bit. I haven't had time to look back. I've watched 3 of their games from this year. I haven't been able to watch our 2 games from those years, but I know my staff has. So there's definitely some similarities from the clips I saw today of the zone that they were running. When we played them COVID year and then Isaac's first year.
Peter, you mentioned how excited South Alabama would be for a game like this. How do you get this group to go, quickly turn the page from the disappointment of not making the tournament Sunday to now, 2 days later you've got a chance to keep playing against a team that is going to come in fired up? Yeah,
I mean I'm gonna be prepared, and I'm gonna do the things I always do to try and get our guys motivated to play. And if it's on us as coaches, but also as players, to continue to have joy in playing basketball. It's another opportunity to go out there and compete, and that's got to be all you need to get excited. And you're playing at home, So I mean, I'm not sure what else I need to say to them in order to get them going. It's a nationally televised game against a team that's in our state at home in a national tournament. Just that should be all the motivation they need to go out there and play and compete.
How much does it help that most of your guys on the roster could come back next season? Like you only have two seniors, and how much this could be pretty beneficial when you talk about trying to look ahead to next year.
Yeah, I mean, part of the decision is trying to be around the guys that we'd love to keep in this program and have another couple weeks of practice with them, and just try and finish this thing on a high note, and continue to try and make their own history because even though we're 17 and 16, this team's done a lot of really good things this year, and let's try and add to it. So that's part of it too, is being around the guys that we want to come back next year for hopefully another week or 2.
Hard-edged question here. Are you going to continue wearing the jacket? Is that something you think will be a permanent addition?
I don't know. It's a good question, JG. Do you like it?
My wife's a huge fan of it.
Wife's a huge fan of it. Okay.
She grew up with Denny Crum, and he always wore a suit. So
Yeah.
she's like a distinguished coach. I like it.
Okay. Yeah. So I was doing that, back in like 2018, 19 when we were, still dressing up. And one of the best compliments I got was from Roy Williams after we beat him in the Sweet 16. He said, "Nice jacket, man." And he was like the original like slacks with like the pattern blazer guy. That was his thing. He was one of them. As far as recently. So yeah, I was doing it a while ago, but it's we'll see.
Stephen, you've mentioned this defense wanting to continue to evolve and get better over the course of the season. You had one of your best defensive games of the year, a really good half against Tennessee. Anything you learned? I don't know if you had too much time to go back on that film yet. Anything you've learned on defense that maybe you can take it and use in this, trying to make a run in the NIT?
Yeah, I'll like the Mississippi State game. Like we were really good, and we did some things that like we hadn't done all year, which I kind of was surprised a little bit with how well we took to it. The first half of the Tennessee game was that was impressive. Like we trapped every ball screen and just like made those bigs make plays, and like we did a great job with it. In the second half, they made the adjustment and didn't run any ball screens. But I thought our guys did a lot of really good things. So yeah, that may be something that this team is better at than what we're typically used to doing. But we'll mix up our coverages and we'll do a little bit of both. But I thought those were 2 of our better defensive efforts of the year in the SEC tournament. I think that's something that we can build off of.